The big three of the Los Angeles Dodgers starred out in the desert while the Mets took down the Cubs and the Blue Jays finished their sweep of the Mariners. We're taking you all around Major League Baseball. It's MLB Game Night. Every game, every night.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On MLB Game Night. I'm Lindsey Crosby, your host, the host of the Locked On Braves postcast. That's JD Hafford, host of Locked On Cardinals. And coming up on today's show, a couple sweeps happened today. We saw a couple walk-offs and some pitching duels across baseball with some hard luck losses taken. But first, today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. JD, full slate of games today. I want to start with Dodgers at Diamondbacks. This has been a fun series. Dodgers win the finale 8-1. Here's Jeff Snyder of Locked On Dodgers with his thoughts on the big victory and how the big three really came and delivered in the clutch for LA.
Well, you can't keep this Dodgers offense down for long. What's up? This is Jeff Snyder from Locked On Dodgers. A day after being shut out by the Diamondbacks and Corbin Burns, the Dodgers scored 8 runs, beating the D-backs 8-1 to split the series, finish their 10-game road trip with no days off and a depleted starting rotation. 6-4, we'll take that on that road trip. Now they have a day off on Monday before heading home for a homestand to take on the A's. Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, both homered. Shohei Ohtani had some big hits. Dodgers had 6 different players with multiple hits in this game. Just a full team effort getting job. Even Michael Conforto had multiple hits. That's how much the Dodgers offense was clicking in this game. And 5 scoreless innings from Tony Gonsolin, and then 1 run in 4 innings from the bullpen. Take that every day of the week. Hopefully get that more in coming days of the week. Be sure to check out the Locked On Dodgers podcast every day of the week on YouTube and wherever you get podcasts.
JD, he said it was a full team effort, but Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman combined to go 9 for 14 with 6 runs, 5 RBI, 2 home runs. How do you stop LA when they do that?
You don't. It's impossible. It really is. I mean, that whole team is set up to win a championship this year. And despite the injuries that they've had to go through, even when they lose a guy like Teoscar Hernandez, they lose guys that would debilitate other people's entire lineups. And they've just got so much firepower. You're not going to stop it. And when he talks about the starting pitching being, a little short right now, saw that Clayton Kershaw is on his way back too. So more help coming to LA like they needed it.
It's just, if you have a ton of injuries, just add a Hall of Famer to your rotation.
Why not? No big deal.
It's just one guy. Just add a Hall of Famer. Everybody do that. Yeah, but Tony Gonsolin looked good. 5 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Flip side, Zach Gallen, 10 hits, 4 runs in 5 2/3 innings. We've seen some rough pitching performances out of the bullpen for Arizona. Now we've seen Gallen do okay against this juggernaut of a lineup, but we've seen Eduardo Rodriguez struggle a little bit in this series. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the bullpen. Is there a reason for concern if you're the Diamondbacks about this pitching staff as a whole?
I'm not freaking out or anything yet. Again, a long way to go. You haven't seen the best from Corbin Burns yet, although he pitched well this weekend. You think that Zach Gallen's going to figure things out eventually. Brandon Pfaadt's been very, very good. So, it's a tough division. So you got to hope that these big guns end up being your best pitchers when things really start to matter towards the middle of the season.
Talking about a tough division, the Giants are in there, and they really needed to get some wins to keep pace. They got walked off by the Twins 7-6 in 10 innings, 8th straight win for Minnesota. Nobody circles the wagons like the Minnesota Twins. Here's our guy Brandon Warren from Locked On Twins with some thoughts about the victory.
The winning streak is 8, and the Twins are feeling great as they walk off the Giants in extras and complete the sweep with a 7-6 win. It's a perfect homestand, and your Twins are over 500 for the first time this season at 21-20. I'm Brandon Warren with your Locked On Twins post-game minute. In a day of snapping streaks, Royce Lewis snapped an 0 for 36 that extended all the way back into last season with a, you guessed it, bases loaded game-tying single in the bottom of the 6th. Then Deshaun Kiersey Jr., who entered for defensive purposes in the bottom of the 6th, snapped an 0 for 17 when he jabbed a 95-mile-per-hour sinker from Ryan Walker that was middle in down the left field line for the game-winning run in the bottom of the 10th. Fun fact, the Twins have won their last 4 straight games when opponents have scored first. Before that, they were 4-15 in those games. Up next, off day on Monday, and then they head to Baltimore to face the Orioles. Second time in a very little bit of time that they're taking on the Orioles, wrapping up that Orioles series early. The matchup in the opener, Simeon Woods Richardson against Cade Povich. First pitch, 5:35 p.m. Tuesday evening. We'll have full coverage. Locked On Twins.
I'm gonna be honest. I really do like Brandon's fun facts. Like he says it jokingly, but they're really good. The big thing for me here in this one, Minnesota, 13 hits, only 3 for extra bases. Brooks Lee home run, Trevor Larnach double, Cody Clemens double. That's it. Everything else singles, and they score 7 runs off of it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't always have to hit the ball over the fence to make a lot of damage against your opponents. It's one thing that I used to always talk about when when I was playing in my days was that the rally killer can be a home run sometimes, but when you still have traffic on the bases, it makes that pitcher throw from the stretch, makes him worry about other things, and that's obviously another way to win ball games outside of hitting home runs.
Yeah, and this is something. Just a lot of singles from both sides. Giants had 9 hits, only 2 for extra bases. Matt Chapman has a double. Heliot Ramos has a home run. But just in the pitching duel, Pablo Lopez outlasts Landon Rope, and they get the victory. All right, Braves at Pirates. Pirates walked off the Braves 4-3, so they won this series. Joey Bart was just nuclear in this one. I've talked plenty about it, obviously hosting the postcast. Here's our buddy Gary Morgan from Locked On Pirates for the winning side of the victory.
Raise the Jolly Roger on Mother's Day. The Pittsburgh Pirates took down the Braves and won the series 2 games out of 3. Joey Bart stays hot and delivers the game-winning RBI to drive in the win after the Pirates blew a 3-0 advantage going into the 8th inning. Big ups and downs in this game. Well managed by Donnie Kelly. I think we saw some differences with the way he handles the bullpen. That's an interesting storyline for us to keep our eye on. The offense is still sputtering, especially Brian Reynolds. But to get a victory here and a series victory when you haven't had Oneil Cruz here in this one and didn't have him to finish out yesterday's game with the lower back soreness, big stuff. Carmen Mlodzinski. Everyone's been calling for him to be replaced. 5 2/3 scoreless today to set the Pirates up for this victory. Outdueled Chris Sale. Maybe if you've been writing his obituary, put your pen down. We're going to be talking about that on Locked On Pirates tomorrow, along with some guys that I think should probably be traded. I know it's early, but it's time to start talking about it.
To Gary's point, Joey Bart, final 2 games, 6 for 10, including a 4 for 4 day on Saturday. He's an Atlanta guy, kind of a revenge game there for him. He grew up in Atlanta.
Yeah, Bart, when I got the Pirates have played the Cardinals multiple times already this year, 2 series, and that first series, Bart couldn't get him out. He was a tough out. And Carmen Mlodzinski, he was impressive in the 2 starts against the Cardinals. I know he's one of those guys where he's really good the first few innings, and then the batting average and stuff go up against him. But I liked what I saw from him, so I'm a little shocked that Pirates fans wanted to get rid of him out of the rotation.
Well, going into today, he had an ERA over 10 his second time through the order. So I think that was some of it. Is he's good early, but it's put him in the pen, use him for 3 innings and long relief. No, he made it through again twice, no runs, only 4 hits, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Final one here for the first segment: Cubs at Mets. Mets take the series with a 6-2 win. Just because I love talking to him, here's Sam Olber from Locked On Cubs with the losing side of this one.
Well, it's Sunday, so you know the Cubs got beat, and it was probably a frustrating loss, and that's exactly what happened on Sunday. I'm Sam Olber from the Locked On Cubs podcast, and there's not really a whole lot to say from this game. I'd rather focus on what's next. Cubs got beat on Sunday 6-2. It was 2-2 heading into the eighth. Porter Hodge gave up a bunch of runs, including a homer to Lindor, and the Cubs offense continues to regress and score less than 3 runs pretty often. I believe it was 4 times this week, but none of that matters now. The Cubs are 23-18 through the toughest schedule in baseball, and now it's time to beat teams that are under 500 and bad teams. The next 21 games for the Cubs, all against teams under 500, and all the great work, and despite today, it's great work that they've done to begin this season, none of that matters unless you take care of the bad teams now too, because if you lose 2 of 3 to a team like the Marlins, that cancels out some of the good work you did against a team like the Dodgers or a team like the Diamondbacks. So Cubs lose this series in New York. They got 1, which is what I was really hoping they would get. Now it's time to prove that they can beat the bad teams and really inflate that record and build a lead in the NL Central.
You know, taking Sam's point, but talking about the Mets, and shout out to Jonathan in our chat here on YouTube. The Mets went 4-2 against the Diamondbacks and the Cubs, and now they get the Pirates, they get the Red Sox, but they also have the Yankees, the Dodgers, and then the White Sox again. So kind of curious to see, like, are the Mets really the best team in the East? Have you seen enough of them to know if they are or not?
I think they're fantastic. And I think their pitching has surprised us a little bit about how good they've been. We thought they were going to be all right, but like Griffin Canning today, he's been awesome. McGill has been really, really good. Kodai Senga bouncing back from last year. It's been very, very impressive. And to think they still got, some guys that are still hurt, like Sean Manaea. There's more coming, you think, for the Mets. So I've been nothing but impressed with them so far this year.
This was actually 2 good starts on both. Griffin Canning, 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run. Only run he gives up is a solo shot to Pete Crow Armstrong. Little revenge game there for PCA. Matthew Boyd on the flip side for Chicago. 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, no walks, 8 strikeouts. Somebody had to take the loss. Ended up being Matthew Boyd. But either way, well-pitched game from both sides. All right, in just a second, I want to get to Red Sox at Royals. This series has been back and forth. We'll do that next, right here on MLB Game Night. Do you ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track, and that's where Monarch Money comes in. It's your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Because Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, your investments, and spending in one place. So you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, plan long-term goals, everything all in the same place where both you and your partner have access to shared and personal accounts. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. All right, JD, Red Sox taking on the Royals. They've split the series so far. 3-1 win for Boston. Here's our host of Locked On Red Sox, Gabby, with some of her thoughts on taking the series on Sunday.
Joe is back to being a serious threat in the Boston Red Sox rotation. I'm Gabby Maljanian, host of Locked On Red Sox, where the Red Sox just won 3-1 over the Kansas City Royals to take the series on the road. And Lucas Giolito certainly was the highlight of the game today. Great outing, 6 2/3 innings, giving up just 1 unearned run. And what was the difference between this and his last start, in which he really struggled? In his last start, he primarily was just relying on his fastball and his changeup, and his fastball velocity was a bit down. So after that game, I said he has to get the velocity up or he has to increase the arsenal. Sure enough, his velocity was up to about 95 in today's outing, which really helped him be a lot more successful. And he also mixed in a slider and a curveball a little bit more that worked very well for him. So he has to utilize to continue those 2 pitches and work them into the arsenal more and more. I'm Gabby from Locked On Red Sox. Tune into the show for more.
Something she said there I want to ask you about, JD. Giolito, 6 2/3, 1 run, unearned, but it was his throwing error that allowed the run to score. In that situation, should that be considered an earned run on the pitcher? When he's the one that made the error?
It is on you. I'm sure. Why not? If it's your error and you're the pitcher, yeah, you'll wear it. Because I'm sure in the interview, he's going to say, yeah, that was on me. It's my fault. So yeah, why not?
I mean, don't give him 6 2/3 scoreless when he committed the error.
You did it. It's your fault.
It's your fault. You should get that. Yeah. Outside of that, Kansas City Royals, only 4 hits in this game. 3 are from the bottom of the order. It's been a struggle for the outfield. Obviously, Drew Waters gets one. Kyle Isbell gets one. But they were 0 for 5 in the runners in scoring position. They left 5 on base. Just a rough day all around at the yard for the Royals. But a team who rebounded from the worst day at the yard to come back and get a win, the Colorado Rockies. They were beat by 3 touchdowns yesterday, and they come back and get the win 9-3, 6 runs in the first 3 innings off of Nick Pivetta. Just because I have not had a chance to play his video yet, here is Paul Holden from Locked on Rockies to talk about a win.
Baseball can be kind of a weird sport. The day after the Colorado Rockies lose one of their worst games in franchise history, they play their best game of the season and avoid the sweep at home against the San Diego Padres. I'm Paul Holden, host of the Locked on Rockies podcast. German Marquez, 7 strong innings, easily his best outing of the year. Not a lot of strikeouts, but tied a personal best, 17 batters set down in a row. And the bullpen hung on there, even though the Rockies, late error, kind of had to make you hold your breath a little bit. And the Rockies offense, massive home runs, Hunter Goodman, Ryan McMahon, and more. The offense was great. It was finally a complete game from the Colorado Rockies, and much needed as the team, like I said, suffered the worst loss, one of the worst losses in franchise history, 21-0 the night before. We'll be breaking it all down on Locked on Rockies.
All right. So, JD, what is the more frustrating way to not get the cycle? Is it needing the triple and getting thrown out at third base? Or is it doing what Hunter Goodman did and getting the triple, getting the homer in like the first 3 innings, then getting the double, and then not being able to get the single at all?
I'm going to say getting thrown out at third on the triple, because you're like, it's right there. You feel like immortality almost is right in your fingertips, and to get gunned at third base, that would be, I feel like, the rougher way to go. That one would sting a little bit.
See, for me, it's first inning homer, third inning triple, and then you can't get the easiest one of the 4. That's the more frustrating one for me, because at least they had to make a good play to get you on the triple. This was just, you couldn't get a ball to fall. You couldn't find a flare, couldn't find some grass for it. But either way, 7-9 Colorado hitters get a hit. I'm just happy that 8 of the 9 get on base. They get a win, and it's a pretty good win, and they can celebrate it for it. Again, we're happy for you, Paul. I'm so thrilled for you, buddy. Okay, Reds at Astros. Astros get the shutout 6-0. Ronel Blanco was just absolutely fantastic. Here's Brett from Locked on Astros, all about the win.
While it wasn't a no-hitter like last year, this 11 strikeout performance probably tops as one of Ronell's best. Hello, I'm H-Town Wheelhouse here with Locked on Astros. The Astros win the series. They win after an insane game yesterday where they out-hit the Reds but lost 8-13. But the Houston Astros came in today. Ronel Blanco had one job, according to Joe Espada: save the bullpen. Let's reset the bullpen. 8 innings, 11 strikeouts. Yainer Diaz hit a home run. We got a hit with bases loaded, and we'll show you those statistics tonight, because when the Astros get bases loaded, they just don't bring in a lot of runs. So we saw some situational hitting come through. Sean Dubin came back and pitched a solid final inning of the game to close it out. The Astros wait for the Royals to come in town next. Stay tuned in to Locked on Astros. We're your team every day. Go Stros.
I don't have much here. Ronel Blanco just feels like once a year he's good for a no-hit bid or a perfect game bid or something. And I have no idea how it's always Houston pitchers who do it and nobody else.
Yeah, he was awesome in this game today. And I think the real story here is not only was he good, but like just the up and down of the Reds offense. Like one day it's like you can't get anybody out, and then they get shut out for a couple. It's weird that they've been shut out so many times this year when you see the ballpark they play after their home games and you see the talent up and down their roster. I know they've dealt with a few injuries, but it's just been a very inconsistent year so far in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I mean, Great American Small Park, and like
Yeah.
you can't seem to get it done. Although they were on the road here, but still, 2 total hits in the game. They were both doubles, but even then, couldn't bring the guys in. Okay, Rangers Tigers. We've talked about this one. Rangers get the 6-1 victory today, and they just absolutely unloaded on Reese Olson. They had they tagged him for 3 runs on 7 hits in 4 innings, but Texas had 12 hits, half of them for extra bases. Right, 3 home runs. Marcus Semien, Josh Young. Jonah Heim, 3 more doubles, and then Nathan Eovaldi goes 7 scoreless innings. You talk about a team that's kind of been one or the other. Texas feels like a team that's really been one or the other because they've been shut out at times, and Jock Peterson was batting, 0.43 or something, and then they have games like this where they just explode offensively and have like 5 guys with multi-hit games.
Yeah, the change at hitting coach with Brett Boone stepping in now.
There you go.
I guess it's working. I've actually met Brett Boone before. I played in a charity game with him, and I played short, and he was at second. Nice guy. We didn't talk a lot of hitting, but whatever he's preaching in Texas appears to be working so far. I also want to take a little bit of credit for this, too, because Texas fans, I personally dropped Semien and Seager this week. I was fed up. They're either hurt, they're not doing something. I drop them, and they go ham. They go crazy for the next couple of games. So you're welcome, Texas.
Thank you for your service. Listen, the Braves play the Nationals starting tomorrow. Can you do me a favor and drop Dylan Cruz or somebody, please? Mackenzie Gore, maybe, something like that. That'd be great. All right. You want to take your Cardinals team real quick? You took down that National squad 6-1.
Yeah, Cardinals, once again, they rely on their starting pitching, which has been outstanding for the last week or so. Miles Michaelis, who I think many would consider the weakest link in their starting rotation, 5 1/3, 1 run, 5 hits, 1 walk, 5 Ks. The Cardinals have now won 8 in a row and are now 1 game behind the Chicago Cubs in the NL Central. Lars Nootbaar with the leadoff home run in this one. Wilson Contreras gets a home run in the second. They're getting great starting pitching. They're pitching deep into games, too. Mm-hmm. Their ERA this week was 1.55 from the starters, and 4 of the 6 starts went 7 or more innings. So, like, it was just a great week. And I know it's the Pirates, it's the Nationals. We're not talking about the upper echelon of offense in the league right now, but you still got to go out and beat those teams. You see what the Rockies did today against the Padres. You still have to beat those
Pirates,
teams. Yeah, and they were able to do it. And, things are looking up for the St. Louis Cardinals right now. They'll go have a much tougher series probably when they travel to Philadelphia to face the Phillies for 3.
Yeah, and 8 wins in a row. I'm curious to see if that's, as a Braves fan, please continue that streak against Philly this week. Continue that winning streak this week. All right, in just a second, I want to get to the end of a series win streak that happened with Blue Jays Mariners, as well as the White Sox might be circling the wagons. We'll do that next right here on MLB Game Night. If you're looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious, check into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller for longer. I'm a big fan of the no shells variety. It's the perfect grab and go snack for a busy day. I can be sitting at my desk on a road trip or just want a quick protein boost while I'm watching baseball. If you love cracking open every shell for that satisfying crunch, the in-shell options are a classic favorite as well. So get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. All right, JD, we were talking earlier in the week about the Mariners just winning like seemingly every single series. They dropped the series yesterday with the loss to Toronto. Toronto comes back and sweeps them with a 9-1 victory today. I don't have anything from Locked On Blue Jays, but I've got Ty Dane Gonzalez from Locked On Mariners to talk about the frustration he's probably feeling after this sweep.
Yeah. This is Ty Dane Gonzalez, host of the Locked On Mariners podcast here. Recording this during the 7th inning of the Mariners Blue Jays game, which is obviously a great sign of how things are going. Because for as resilient as this ball club has been this season, this ain't going to happen. So, I'm just going to get out ahead of this now and record this and
enjoy the rest of my Sunday and spend some time with my family here on Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, by the way.
Happy Mother's Day.
The Mariners are getting smoked right now by the Blue Jays 9-1. They're about to get swept for the second time this season, and frankly, they have earned that and then some, because as bad as the calls have been behind the plate, and they've certainly hurt the Mariners in some key situations this series, and as bad as their luck has been, they've also just gotten outplayed by the Blue Jays. The offense has been lethargic. The pitching hasn't been able to finish off innings, like with Bryce Miller on multiple occasions today. The Blue Jays just played a better series than they did as well. They made some really big plays. They got some timely hits. That's baseball. So hopefully the Mariners can recalibrate here, because things are not going to get any easier. Yankees coming to town, and then the Padres right after that. So hopefully the Mariners can get things turned around. And we'll see what you guys have on your minds for Mailbag Monday when we talk to you on the Locked On Mariners podcast tomorrow. See you then.
Talking about Bryce Miller not doing well. That was 7 earned runs on 8 hits in 5 innings with only 3 strikeouts. Like, he gave up more hits than Seattle had as an entire team, because they only had 4, although one of them was a home run by Dylan Moore.
Yeah, I mean, this happens. It happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just not your week. Talking about the Cardinals winning 8 in a row. They also got blasted by Boston, and they got blasted by the Mets. Like, it just happens. And I know it can be a little bit frustrating, but if I'm a Mariners fan, I'm not hitting the panic button. Okay, you're just going to be like, all right, that happened. You got to be like Sam was with the Cubs. Okay, yeah. It happened. Let's move on. Who do we got next? Because we know we're better than what we just played.
Speaking of, like, just sometimes you randomly lose. Do you remember what happened when the Braves and the Cardinals played? I don't think we've talked about that yet. I think it was a Braves series win. I need some positivity in my life. That's all it is, JD.
I don't recall such things. I'm sorry.
There we go. All right. Talking about a team that does know that they won. White Sox took down the Marlins 4-2. They've won 2 of their last 3 series. This is the second straight series victory at home. Between Colorado being so bad and the White Sox having signs of life in the month of May, like, we might have to pass the baton of worst team in baseball to Colorado instead of Chicago. But sticking with the theme of the losing team, here's Jeremiah Geiger from Locked On Marlins about how this game went.
That's embarrassing. The Marlins just dropped 2 out of 3 to the White Sox. It's Jeremiah Geiger from the Locked On Marlins podcast. Sandy Alcantara was on the mound. It was supposed to be a get-right game against one of the worst teams in baseball, one of the worst offenses in baseball.
Spoiler alert, it was not.
And he goes out for the 6th inning with his pitch count really high. He's over 100 pitches and gives up a 3-run jack. And the White Sox end up winning the game 4-2. One bad pitch is all it took. Marlins bats were pathetic. They were awful all series. Couldn't hit with runners in scoring position. Just a dismal, embarrassing performance by the Marlins against a bad team that they should have beaten. Can't get much lower than this.
I will say, I mean, it can get lower. I mean, White Sox did it last. Colorado's doing it this year. It can get lower, Jeremiah. But I will say, Tim Elko, you had a great note here in our rundown. Tim Elko is the first White Sox player since Braden Shoemaker did, I think, 2 years ago, where his first career hit was a home run. He has a 3-run home run in this one. He was the one who hit the home run off of Sandy there in the 6th inning. Sandy only had 1 run going into that inning. It looked like the get-right start until it wasn't.
Yeah, a couple of hits, and then boom, one swing of the bat, and that's how quick things can change in this game of baseball. But I'm concerned about Sandy Alcantara. I know he's coming back from the injury and such, but the walks, man, it's just consistently putting extra guys on, and that's extra pitches on your arm, which leads to you get to that 6th inning and you're running on fumes by this point. So I'm concerned about Sandy. He has not looked anywhere near the Cy Young form we saw him just a couple of years ago.
And they need him to have that Cy Young form so they can get something good for him at the deadline. Okay, we've got 4 minutes left. We've got 4 games left. I'll go first. Yankees at A's. This was 12-2. That ballpark the people have been talking about in Sacramento. That ballpark is one of the hardest to hit home runs in during the day and easiest at night. But the Yankees still did fine. Bryn Rice gets a grand slam. Aaron Judge goes 4 for 5, 2 RBI. Paul Goldschmidt goes 3 for 5, and they get 5 innings of 2-run ball out of Ryan Yarbrough. Flip side here, Luis Severino, 4th loss of the year. He only goes 4 innings, 8 runs on 9 hits, only 2 strikeouts. They paid him a lot of money to be a number 1. So far, he's not being that guy.
No, and I've enjoyed watching the A's so far because they've had a solid start to their season, considering all of the changes that they've had to go through so far this year. But the Yankees are such a good team, and they've got that offense. And considering all the injuries that they've gone through and dealt with as well, that's probably a pretty tough loss for the A's, especially to take it on the chin, 12-2.
There you go. Orioles at Angels. Orioles win 7-3. They've not scored that many runs since like mid-April. Gunnar Henderson hits his 5th home run. They had 4 different guys with at least 2 hits. Zach Eflin gives them 5 innings of 2-run ball in his first start back from that lat strain. Is this a sign of turning things around for Baltimore, or are they still in the bottom of the East?
Man, it's so bizarre to me that they have not been a better team. We knew the starting pitching was thin to start the year. The injuries come, and then Grayson Rodriguez is out, and Eflin's out, and they're relying on guys like Kyle Gibson to come in and save the day.
Charlie Morton's not good.
We knew that was going to be tough, but the offense is what has been quite bizarre, that they've struggled as much as they have. So Gunnar Henderson, though, since coming back from the injury to start the spring, has been so much better, more like himself, and hopefully that'll lead the charge for Baltimore moving forward.
Yeah, they really need him to be better, or to be better to get that offense back where it should be. All right, Brewers at Rays, another minor league ballpark here. Brewers win this one 4-2, and the difference here, they get 2 home runs off of Drew Rasmussen in the 4th inning. Christian Yelich does one. William Contreras, playing with a broken finger, he gets one. But other than that, Milwaukee was 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. They just did not really want to win this game, but Tampa Bay wanted to win it even less. They had 8 hits. 3 of them came from Jonathan Aranda, and 6 of their hits were singles. Only 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. They left 6 on base.
Yeah, the Brewers are a team that I'm still trying to figure out, because I know that they lost Adames going to the Giants this year, and I know that their offense, the firepower, is not what it was, but at the same time, it's just been a strange season for them so far. It just talking with Chuck from Locked On Brewers daily almost about his frustrations with what's going on with that team. It's just a little surprising that they've struggled as much as they have over with like the simple things in the game. It's just like the little things that they're not doing right that they used to do right, which led to victories and led them to being the Central Division champions last year.
Yeah. Final game here, another kind of almost a snooze fest. Phillies at Guardians, 3-0 win by Philly. Zach Wheeler goes 7 scoreless. Kyle Schwarber hits 2 home runs. Cleveland's held to 3 hits, 2 from Stephen Kwan, and otherwise just a quiet night. Hopefully they can get back at it tomorrow. This has been MLB Game Night for Sunday, May 11th. Do us a favor. You're listening on audio. Leave a 5-star review for Locked On MLB. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you know when we go live, because MLB Game Night is every game, every night. For JD Hafford, I'm Lindsey Crosby. This has been MLB Game Night.
Happy Mother's Day.